Only 7 days remain until the mother of all supply shocks hits Bitcoin. As we enter the final countdown to the Bitcoin halving, market observers are bracing themselves for a potential supply shock that will make Bitcoin's price go absolutely ballistic. The combination of the halving event and the dwindling availability of Bitcoin on exchanges is setting the stage for a supply shock unlike anything the world has ever seen. With the rate of new Bitcoin issuance set to decrease and the demand soaring, the market is primed for the most epic bull run in Bitcoin's history. So you better strap in, and you really have to be asking yourself right now, what happens when there is no more Bitcoin left to be traded on exchanges? Think about it. If all these institutions that are buying this Bitcoin, if they started doing this 10 years ago like they are now, and they were buying it by the millions, hundreds of millions, then there would literally be no Bitcoin left for us right now. Think about that. And they're still gobbling it up at a faster rate than is actually being created. And that creation is going to take a hit by 50% in just 6 days. So the amount of Bitcoin that enters the ecosystem, which is 900 a day, is going to be cut down to 450 per day. There is literally no ceiling to what is possible, because going back to the bear market that broke all the models into Bitcoin's fastest rebound in history, surpassing all-time highs before the halving, well, all bets are off. All models are destroyed. There are only two certainties.
I've said before, if Bitcoin's not going to zero, it's going to a million. The real question is it a legitimate asset? If it's a legitimate institutional asset, everybody is underallocated to it.
Just from the ETF buys, there will be no more Bitcoin left on exchanges in less than 600 days. If they're buying 3,000 a day, only 1.7 million left on exchanges, that's 567 days until no more Bitcoin left. And that's just from the Bitcoin ETF outflows. There is no dollar value of Bitcoin this cycle that is impossible except zero. People are about to learn what absolute scarcity means. And for some, it could be absolutely brutal, because when it comes to Bitcoin, there is no top. Take a look at this.
IBIT and Fidelity FBTC, they're raking in about 200 to 175 million per day on average, every trading day. And if you calculate that in BTC terms, that's about roughly almost 9,000 coins. And we're producing 900 a day. So you can see that it's not sustainable. And there is going to be a supply crunch because you have this massive amount of demand. But I think people don't see that because they're not seeing the price go up immediately. But Bitcoin seems to surprise a lot of people. It moves very quickly, and it does go up very quickly too. In the past, we've seen 20x in 9 months. And I think with this new source of demand, you can easily 20x in weeks.
Demand for Bitcoin from accumulation addresses is now exceeding supply from miners for the first time in history. That is about to go parabolic, with the available supply coming into the market being cut in half. Can you see how things can escalate and get way the out of hand real fast? You know, gradually, then suddenly. ETFs, demand shock. Halving, supply shock. All of this in a span of months, and people are pissing down their legs as Bitcoin is chilling near all-time highs. Get a therapist or eat some meat and exercise. Touch some grass. Mine fiat. Stack sats. That needs to be the #1 mission. Get sats or die trying, because none of us are ready for what is coming. Now, I know you're asking yourself, just how out of line could things get? How high could this send Bitcoin's price? Well, we're going to dive into that. But first, let's take a minute to recognize our sponsors, the Bitcoin Way. Simply Bitcoin Originals are powered by the Bitcoin Way. They bring over 25 years of cybersecurity experience. They are your IT team in the Bitcoin world. They help bridge that gap from the why Bitcoin to the how Bitcoin. And as your dedicated Bitcoin IT team, the Bitcoin Way is here to guide you from start to finish on your journey to properly self-custody your Bitcoin. From your first wallet node to advanced multi-sig security, inheritance planning, and much more, the Bitcoin Way has got you covered, and they will hold your hand and walk you through the process toward becoming a sovereign individual. Okay, now let's get to business, because we are at the inflection point.
We're going to hit, whether it's like super cycle theory or whatever you want to call it, we're going to hit a major inflection point. And Bitcoin's going to 10, 20x in a very rapid way. Once people miss out on that, and the question is how big is that actually going to be? You know, and we don't know, but like once most of the world is aligned in terms of infrastructure to be allocating capital directly into this asset, something could happen very fast where Bitcoin gets into the millions of dollars in a very rapid way. And then all of a sudden, it's just like how many people are going to ultimately end up missing out out over that period.
Yeah,
And that's going to be material.
But so let's talk about that. The multiplier effect. You don't need $1 trillion to come into Bitcoin for it to double from here. You just need $1 to come in or less. Someone buy one sat, one fraction of a dollar, and there's no offers between here and double the price. So if somebody buys, if there's no offers between here and $130,000 and one sat trades, that's the market value of Bitcoin now. And that's the hard thing to wrap your head around. It has to do with the demand and just how much that demand is outstripping supply at any one moment, which goes back to your volatility.
And so you feel like we're very early then?
People think Bitcoin is expensive now at 69K. Well, they're going to get real pissed off when Bitcoin is at 6.9 million and beyond.
There are 900 Bitcoin minted on the day. And my expectation is, given the way that the supply is coming off exchange and the demand that's about to come into the market, we're going to have the daily global trade facilitated by whatever is mined on the day. So we're going to see 6.3 trillion in global trade facilitated by the 900 Bitcoins that are minted on the day, because the rest are in cold storage, not to see the light of day. And given that 6.3 trillion divided by 900 Bitcoin, you get to a price of about $7 billion in today's terms.
That's absolutely amazing, Peter, and I appreciate the math. It could get even more complicated than that with the halving or the subsidy halving every 210,000 blocks. That $7 billion number may even seem a little bit bearish.
Yeah, that's about how extreme things could get. Probably won't happen overnight, but one thing is certain. Things have never been more bullish for Bitcoin, and everyone is under allocated. They'll figure it out eventually, or someone else will, forcing them to bend the knee. Remember, it is the based that will inherit the earth. Fortune favors the brave, not the blue-haired, paper-handed pansies. Y'all are not ready for the supply shock. Lots of game theories in play this cycle that weren't before. A lot of people are going to miss the boat thinking, everything's the same prior to Larry Fink, Blackrock, and the ETFs. I'm going to break it down and make it real simple for you. The oh-fucking is upon us. The oh-fucking is when Bitcoin is suddenly in such high demand, it's not available on exchanges, and no one knows what price it is because there fucking isn't one. Oh, indeed.
Empty. 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 Empty.
The ETFs are just one side of the demand story too. What about the nation states? Hey, be sure to check this one out. It's been a great weekend from Dallas at BitBlock Boom. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to take in the streams, all the amazing speakers. It was an awesome event. Hey, set those notifications, keep tuning in, and we will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Hey, I'll catch you all next time. Peace.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.